We move forward and I now request Shri Srijan Singh, founder and chairman, HOMI Lab and former advisor to 11th President of India, Dr. 𝗙𝗵𝗲𝗲𝗲 from 2009 to 2015 onwards. And here he is with all of us, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to all of you. First I must greet Shri 𝗟𝗏𝗲𝗲 ji, who has been instrumental in putting this fantastic gathering together. And not just this gathering, I understand there are many gatherings of this kind which he has managed to put together. It's a very difficult task and it's a very noble cause. So my congratulations to you. And your team, of course. I greet the dignitaries on the dais, and I think there are so many dignitaries right in front of me as well. Each one of you is a teacher, a principal, an educator. And in that ecosystem and beyond it, you are a hero, you are a champion. You are someone which so many Indians, especially children, look up to. They observe every behavior you do, every word you say, and they emulate it, they replicate it, they try to become like you. You are those few human beings who other human beings see as a role model and want to be exactly like you. A child learns to talk like a teacher, often walk like a teacher. We have done that. We try to copy how teachers walk, how they hold the pen, what kind of dress they wear. We also like it, right? I've been in those. We've all been students at times, and we know how important a teacher has and what silent impact but deep impact a teacher has on a child, right? Ask anyone, name top 5 people who have influenced you in your life, and there will be one school teacher at least, if not more. You know, maybe parents, school teachers, and then college professors, of course. The way I was introduced to Dr. Kalam was in 2008 when I was a student. In Hyderabad, he came to teach. I was a student president back then, so I got more time to, fortunately, with him to spend more time, and then I worked with him. More than a boss, he was my teacher and my friend. And in 2015, 27 July, when he passed away, it was another I am Shinoh. I was with him. I used to teach that course with him. He was still a teacher. My first and last interaction with him was as a teacher. And he still remains to be a teacher. I guess not just to me, but all of us. Before I wanted to talk to you about a topic of futurism, but before I get into that, because you're all teachers, I want to tell you a story, small, 2-minute. Dr. Kalam used to tell, whenever he would go to students, school students or college students, he would say that, you tell me what you will be remembered for. Okay, what is that you want to be remembered for? Why should the world remember you? And so, if you were the student, this question comes to you once. But if you were permanently, every day interacting with him like me, and as a student, that question was every day. And every day I'll give him some answer and say, improve upon it, improve upon it. To a point, I cannot really improve upon it anymore, right? So one day I said, and he was also my friend, right, besides a teacher. So I could take some, I could also throw something back at him. So I said, sir, you keep asking me this question. I want to ask you a question. What do you want to be remembered as? You are now 82 years old. What do you want to be remembered as? So he started smiling. So I said, I am a CAT person, CAT exam. 4 options I'll give you. Okay. First option, spaceman. Second option, missile man. Third option, nuclear man. And fourth option, people's president. Okay, those are the 4 things we tell him. So he said, no, you don't have the right option. So there's a hidden 5th option. As a teacher. Right? One of the greatest humans we have ever seen wanted to be remembered not as anything else but as a teacher. Because a teacher has more impact than perhaps a space scientist has or a nuclear scientist has. Because you do greater things, bigger explosions happen in the mind of a child. Greater distances can be traveled if you energize the mind of a child. The mind of a human being, especially a younger human being, is the most powerful resource on the earth, above the earth and under the earth. And you are entrusted with that mind. Which brings me to the core of the discussion for the next 10 minutes or whatever I'm allowed to. I'll try to summarize it. Education sector across the world, and it's not just about India, it's about anywhere in the world, has seen some very key transformations over the past 2-3 years. Some of them have been in a painful format, and to begin with the COVID. The COVID impact on education globally has been that education is now a mixed medium delivery system. So there is classroom, and there is absolutely nothing which will replace a classroom and a human being. But there is also supplement which teachers have learned to use and students have learned to learn from. So that bridge, you have an additional mode of communicating and educating, which is beyond the traditional mode of a classroom. So it's classroom plus now. The next big thing happened only 4 months ago, which was deep AI, artificial intelligence. How many of you have heard of ChatGPT? Okay. How many of you, now raise your hand, keep it up. Now, if you have used ChatGPT, keep your hand up, otherwise lower it. Okay. So, approximately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people or maybe a little more have used ChatGPT, and about 25 have heard about it. ChatGPT is just one deep AI tool. Just one. That's the one you've heard of. There are many more which are developing at a rate of many per week. To the extent that ChatGPT itself reinvents every month. And by the end of this year, and I'm not taking you to next year, by the end of this year, a lot of things which you do, which you see other people do, could be and would be replaced or improved by artificial intelligence. Now, we can say that whether it's good or bad, we really cannot. There's not a question to ask. The question is, how do we make it better? How do we make it useful for the betterment of humanity? Because you cannot stop it. It's like computerization in 1990s. If you were trying to stop it, you'll only lose time because it will not stop. How do we use AI in the best possible manner for optimizing teaching? That's the next thing which is going to happen. The third thing is a rather positive development and far less scary, and that is called immersive learning. We are now going at the cusp of a time when learning itself will be, we have to bring back imagination to learning, right? One of the things which has happened with things like Netflix and YouTube is that imagination has gone away because children do not imagine anymore. We have to bring back learning and imagination together, and to do that, we have to do immersive learning, which will come either through virtual reality, through simulations, through interactions, interactive videos would be possible. All these tools will come. This will happen by the end of this year. 2024 would be a very different time if you are a teacher. Very different time. And it's a time for you to optimize, learn, and grow. And teachers are at a very good position right now to use all these things, especially if you are a school teacher. Take it as an opportunity, okay? Now, I want to talk and step into, because I'm talking about what's happening now, let's go into what's going to happen in the future. Dr. Kalam and I, we wrote a book called Advantage India. It was his last book. It was published after he passed away. In November 2015 it was published, but we had written it before, towards the early that year. In that book, we had two major numbers which are important for you. Number one, there's something called half-life of knowledge. What does that mean? It means that what you know today, what time will it take for half of it? If you're a chemistry teacher, you'll understand half-life. What will it take for half of it to become irrelevant? Okay? So if you know 100 things today, how much time will it take for 50 things to become irrelevant, outdated, or absolutely wrong actually? That may also happen. 50 things have to be replaced. That's called half-life. Okay? You got it? Now, let's take a guess here. What do you think is the half-life of knowledge at the top of the curve, the spearhead of technology, the things which are really changing fast. What do you think is the half-life?
Maybe 2 to 10 years.
How many years?
Couple of years.
Couple of years. 6 months. 8 months. You're the closest actually so far. Okay. So it's actually 13 months. Every 13 months, half of what you know would become irrelevant. You have to learn it all over again. That is the curve of knowledge. So steep. Exciting time, but then also a time when you have to keep on learning rapidly. The second important index is something which is called job relevance, which means that what we are teaching today, how much of that would be relevant to jobs of tomorrow. A student, and I'll give you one of the statistics, there are many of them, you can read Advantage India for that. A child in middle school, in class 8th today, whatever he's learning, he will get into a job, 85% chance will get into a job which does not even exist today. You don't know that job. And if you case in point, influencers. Who heard of people will get into social media and make so much money by being influencers? Right? If you were a child of 1980s, telecom, computer programmers, nobody heard of it. But that's going to increase. So 17 out of 20 jobs of tomorrow do not exist today. We are training children for a future which we do not clearly know. And that is why futurism and future as a subject is perhaps far more important than history as a subject. Because that future as a subject will prepare the citizens of tomorrow. And I want children to prepare for a better tomorrow, for a happier tomorrow. There's a book which Dr. Kalam and I wrote called Reignited, that's the third book, which talks about futurism. And I tell you, as a teacher, you're also a learner. As a teacher, you're always a student. The future is beautiful, it's bright. Good things will happen, harmony will happen, pollution will go down. But we need to train those citizens to do that. I have the fortune of having traveled across the world with Dr. Kalam and after him and worked with many, many research labs. Let me take you across the world. Let's move away from India and then we'll come back, okay? I was in Australia and I met in University of Sydney a professor and we worked together with Dr. Kalam was there, fantastic product, who had a wheelchair with whom you can connect the human neural network. And it links with the computation of the wheelchair and you think, go forward, it goes forward. Right, left, backward, stop. You have to think, no button, nothing. A person who's completely paralyzed could use it. And it takes a day to train on it. Just that's all. One day training and I can use it. Fantastic. This is called man-machine interface. This is what we need to teach. Move. Abu Dhabi. There's a company, we're working right now with them. It's called Absolute Foods. It's the world's first structured company on growing large-scale hydroponics. Have you heard of hydroponics? Hydroponics and aeroponics are plants which do not need soil to grow. Imagine an apple tree without the leaves, the branches and the trunk and the roots. Just apples. You could grow it in your drawing room. You could grow it in your kitchen. Tomorrow's refrigerators would be farms. You open the refrigerator and there's a farm inside it. You pluck the fresh apple and eat it. This will happen in 10 years. There's an Indian company based now in Abu Dhabi who further. In UK, currently we work with something called the 𝗙cie, which is United Kingdom Centre for Astrobiology. Astrobiology is space plus biology, life in space. It means we work, and we are actively working right now in a mine which is 2.5 kilometers deep. 2.5 kilometers deep, right? That's like 400 stories below ground, right? And we are working on how to make life possible on the next planet, which is Mars. And we've been able to now send something called 𝗙cie generator on Mars. It's there right now as we speak, which is converting Martian carbon dioxide into oxygen so that 30 years down the line, when humans land there, we have enough oxygen to support them without a spacesuit. We're doing that. The world is already there, This is what we need to teach. The first astronaut who could be a man or a woman, and I hope is from India, may be in your classroom. Go further. In US, we work with Harvard University, the Harvard Institute for Emerging Sciences, where Professor Bobby Kasturi, a fantastic gentleman, he's an Indian, who is working on how to extract thoughts from your brain and put it into a machine, so that your memories could be stored in a computer chip. In case someone loses their mind, we can pull it back. And in case you want to forget someone, we can delete. Yeah, we all have people we want to forget, right? So we can do that, right? And because we have limited time, I just wanted to cut short your journey. And in University of Stanford, we worked with someone called Hong Park, and what we're working with him, or we were working with him, now we don't work anymore, is on a technology called nanorobots. So essentially, you have robots, you know robots, there's one outside, right? Now, squeeze it to the size of a nanometer. A nanometer is, coronavirus is about 10 nanometers, right? So to that size. And they can be injected in the body. Suppose someone breaks their bone, the nanorobot will go there and repair it in a matter of, if you see movies like Wolverine, right? Immediately heals. That immediate healing can happen. If someone gets cancer, this nanorobot will go there and destroy that cancer cell and come out. Cure for cancer is within our grasp. Within this decade, we will defeat cancer. And to conclude, and that is why, the first human to live 200 years has been born. In 2014 around, that person has been born. I don't know who it is. I hope it's someone from our country, someone from Hyderabad maybe, right? The first human being to walk on Mars is already about 10 years old. The first human being to permanently live on Moon is also around 10 years old. There's permanent, we'll send them to Moon, not bring them back, they'll live there, right? The cure for cancer is within this decade. The cure for pollution is within the next 15 years. We'll heal this planet too, right? And such beautiful things will happen. Name a problem and the solution is there. But the solution is often yet to be discovered by people who are in your classrooms. And that's why teaching them future is important. And since there are government dignitaries present here, I would really offer you and also advise you and also request you that Telangana as a state should become the first state in the world to make future as a course. Right? So he will help you if that's needed.
Amen to that.
So thank you for your time. Thank you for being a very patient listener. I've exceeded my time. So thanks for that, and I hope you enjoyed it. Look forward to it.